Hello everybody and welcome to this video in which we are going over the basics of HTML. So this is really just looking at how we can create a very simple web page, but it's a web page and of course we could serve it out to the whole World Wide Web, right? So let's take a look at it. This is the code. Now we're just going to copy and paste it. We can do this in a text editor, so I use Linux generally speaking. So it's not going to be Notepad, that's more Windows, but if you're on a Windows machine, Notepad is a good one. Just a simple text editor, right? Not a word processor, so don't want Word or anything like that, just a text editor. Notepad on Windows, and there's a few on Linux. If I just come down here and take a look here, I should have one there, text editor right there, Mousepad or Plume or something like that, and there's Mousepad. There's lots and lots. Let's go to Mousepad, why not? Just a simple text editor. There we go, we can zoom that one in as well. So what are we going to do? We're just going to take this, left mouse, drag it, copy all of this, right? So I'm doing Control-C, the shortcut to copy it. You can do the right mouse and copy it, and Control-V to paste it. Okay, and there we go. Let's have a look at this junk here and kind of what's going on. So first of all, with the doc type, this is just saying to the browser, because we're going to open this with a browser, right? So Firefox or Chrome, Internet Edge or whatever, and it's going to render this, so it will show this as a web page. So this essentially is what a web page is made out of. This is it, right? Generally speaking, it will have styling applied using CSS to make it look fancy, and it might have JavaScript to make it interactive for people, but the basic thing is HTML, right? Hypertext Markup Language. That's the skeleton, the structure, the content of what you want to show to the user. You've got to have HTML, and that's really, really important. So what do we do once we told the browser it's HTML? Well, then we have this HTML here. By the way, these are elements. So HTML works around elements. Let's just take a more simple, maybe this one, it's easier to understand here. So here, all of this, I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to paste it there. So this is an element, right? An element, and also I can just do this as an element as well. So this is a paragraph, right? This also here, this is an element. So we've got an element here, and we've got an element here. So elements make up web pages, right? In HTML, this is H1. Well, H for heading, 1 for the most important heading, the main heading. So H1 means this is the most important heading. I'm not going to have hello world. Let's make it a bit more relevant. That was just an example on the technique card. Let's say this is a website about animals. Well, let's call it animals, therefore, right? Okay. So that's your main heading. Think about writing a report, right? That's your main heading. And then you might have subheadings later. We'll get to those maybe in another technique card. But now let's just get the basics. And then P for paragraph. You got it, paragraph. So P is a paragraph. This is a paragraph element. This is a heading 1 element, okay? Now, how does the element work? We've got tags. So here, this just here. So the less than, the P, and then the greater than, that's a tag, right? That's open tag. Think about this like you would have open inverted commas and close inverted commas, right? So we've got open tag, and we've got the close tag with text here. In this case it's text, and this is what will be displayed on the browser, right? Notice it's a / to close it, and it's the same here. It's / and then the same element name there to close it. So we've got an open tag and we've got a close tag, and that makes up the elements. And at the moment we've got main heading, so H1, and we've got the P for paragraph, but we've also got this coming back to where we were, kind of circling back around, HTML element. So you need that, and you need to close it there, and essentially all of your HTML code goes in between those two, right? Enclosed in there, wrapped in there. Then we can see, and we'll just kind of split it out like this, we've got head and body. The head we don't have to worry too much about at the moment. The end user does not see this. This is for computers, this is for websites, this is for web crawlers, indexing, so search engines, etc. They will use this. We don't need to worry too much about it right now. Okay, the title just gives it a title. My first web page. Well, since we said it's going to be about animals, let's call it animals, right? And search engines can use this here when they're indexing websites. Now the body, this is the part we're going to really focus in on. This is what people see, right? This is what's actually going to show on the web page. So this is another element, the body element. So you've got open it and you've got close it, as you can see, and everything in between those open and close body tags there is going to be displayed on the page, on the web page. So we've got H1. We expect it to say hello world. Well, let's change that to animals and animals. And then this paragraph, I made this web page myself using HTML. This let's not even worry about that at the moment. Let's keep it really simple. Let's just copy that and get rid of it. We can paste it back later. And let's just kind of see what happens. So once you've got this pasted in and maybe you've tweaked it, changed it a little bit, then you can go to File and you're going to save it. Save as, okay. I'm just going to save it here. So just in the home directory. And the important thing is it's the .html file extension, not .text or doc or anything like that. You want it to be HTML. So let's call it, I don't know, first page .html, right? .html, the file extension is important. So first -page.html, let's save it. And then we can open it. So I'm going to go to my file explorer kind of down here, and we should see it somewhere around here. There it is, first page.html. And you can see already, because of .html, the computer's saying, okay, you want to open that with a browser, right? Because it's a website. Yeah, absolutely. Whereas if it's .text, you see .text, it's saying you want to open that with a text editor, right? Because it's text, but this HTML means it open with a web browser. Let's see which one, Firefox, that'll do. And there we go. You're going to see, right, this is opened in a web browser. It's a website. And yes, we could serve it, and yes, other people could see it, and we could give it a domain name and all that. It's not a very exciting web page, but it's a web page, and it's success, and it's pretty cool, because then we can add more to it. We can learn more how to add pictures and all the rest of it, and we can style it using CSS and make it look all cool and fancy. Point is, there's your heading, animals. There's your paragraph. I made this web page myself using HTML, and notice here on the tab it's got animals. This is getting pulled from the head. If I can find, I've got too much stuff open here. There, isn't it, in the text editor? That's getting pulled from this. So let's just change that title and see if it, so I don't know, changed, right? I'm going to save it. So let's go to, I was going to do Control S, but just so you can see it's getting saved, I'm going to save it, so overwrite it there. Now, when we come back here, what do we expect to see? Oh, it still says animals. We need to reload it, okay? And when we reload it, we see it has changed to what we did. Okay, because if I right mouse on this web page and look at the page source, I see my code, right? Because this is what is underneath it all, right? This is what's causing the web page to look like this, really. Okay, so if I go back to my text editor, again, let me change this. So not change, let's change the whole thing, and let's do it about, I don't know, weather, right? Something like that, weather, and the heading can be weather facts, something like that, an exclamation mark. So we're changing the main heading, and then in the paragraph we can change this. Notice that I'm not deleting anything in the open and close tags. They need to be there, just what's inside them. Sunny weather is nice, right, something like that. Okay, I'm going to save it. So you change, this is the workflow, what we call a workflow. We change the code, we make it like we want it. And by the way, I don't need all these spaces, right? I just put those in to show you. I don't need those there. And it makes no difference if they're there or not to the computer, right? It's just so we could see it. So let's save it. You change it, then you save it. So you overwrite your previous one. You come back to this, and you have to remember to reload the code, because at the moment it's still loaded from the old code. But when I reload it, we see, okay, I've changed it. Let's just say I want to put another paragraph. So I'm going to come back to this. So I want to add a second paragraph. Okay, so enter. I don't need to indent it. I can do it there. All right, let's just show you that. Cold weather is not nice. Okay, what do I need to do? Yeah, I need to close it, right? Open, close, just like speech marks, / and then P, right? I can save that. I'm just going to Control S to save it, just to save time, reload it, and I've got my next paragraph. You see how it's gone on to the next line down as well, because it's just like writing it in your paragraph. like I say, I don't have to indent it, but we do tend to keep things, oops, sorry, it's done it off spaces rather than tabs. We do tend to keep the indentation the same, just so it's easy to read it and easy to understand it. So there we go, let's just save that, and you're going to see it makes no difference. When I reload it, it'll look exactly the same, right? It makes no difference. One more thing is we can also do this, I'm just going to copy and paste it. So all of this, and then Control-C to copy. We can do this in a development environment, which is actually much better. Text editors are fine when we're learning that, but actually a development environment is better. I use Visual Studio Code, much better. Let's just open that very quickly before we finish this video. It comes up with this junk about welcome, don't need it, close it. I'm just going to go to new file, not text file, just a new file, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, vsfirst.html, and we just save it in there again, create the file. Okay, and now you can see I can paste in my code, and like that, it's the same. I save it, and now if I open this one, so if I come to my file explorer, wherever that may have gone, I think it's there, right? VS First, if I open that, you see it's the same, right? Okay, so it's still working off VS Code, and development environment is much easier to work with. Let me just show you. I mean, it's a whole video in and of itself, but for example, I've got now something called Emmet, so if I want another paragraph, I could just press P and then Tab, and it does open and close format. It speeds things up, it makes it a lot easier, it gives you suggestions. Later, if I want to do like an image, I could IMG tab, and it gives me the source and the alt and all the rest of it automatically, whereas in a text editor, you've got to be writing all this yourself, and it's a little bit more complicated. So I definitely recommend you start to use VS Code or a similar development environment, but VS Code is excellent. Okay, let's just save that. That's the end of it. We've covered everything we needed to, I think, in our technique card. I hope it was of use. Have fun developing your possibly first web page. All right, and as always, until next time, take care.